This is a dystopian future where the government has outlawed all memes. The authorities are out to get me because I am one of the last meme lords still sharing funny images. But why did they do it? Well, it started off innocently enough. One day the government decided that the best way to reduce online hate speech was to deploy to skin and ban all images deemed inappropriate. And who could argue with that? Not me. I'm all for reducing hate speech, but then the algorithm got bored. It started banning things left and right. The next thing I know, my friend sends me a meme that's a bit too close to the line. Content violation detected. The crying laughing emoji meme I just shared is now a felony. My distracted boyfriend meme is copyright infringement, and I'm about to get a $50,000 fine. That SpongeBob reaction gif I send is going straight to digital jail. And before I know it, the entire internet is shut down. Here's something that might surprise you. Memes are illegal. According to legal analysis from the Silb law firm, every time you share a meme, you're potentially stepping into a copyright minefield. Think about it, that Drake meme format? It uses copyrighted images of the rapper. The "This is fine dog." That's from a webcomic with specific ownership rights. Even the classic distracted boyfriend stock photo has an owner who could, theoretically, sue for unauthorized use. The reality is that memes are what legal scholars call derivative works. They take existing copyrighted material and transform it. In the United States, this transformation often falls under fair use protection, particularly when memes serve as parody or commentary. But here's the catch. Fair use isn't a law, it's a defense. You have to prove it in court. And the National Law Review points out that determining whether a meme infringes copyright depends on factors like the purpose of use, the nature of the copyrighted work, how much of the original is used, and the effect on the market value of the original. It's complicated, expensive, and most people sharing memes have no idea they're navigating this legal labyrinth. So when we ask, what if memes were illegal? The uncomfortable truth is that many already technically are. We're just living in a world where enforcement is selective and most copyright holders don't bother pursuing individual meme creators. What dies first? Culture itself. Memes aren't just silly pictures. They're the folklore of the digital age. They're how we process trauma, celebrate victories, and make sense of an increasingly complex world. Research shows that memes serve as what anthropologists call cultural shorthand. They compress complex ideas into instantly recognizable formats. The expanding brain meme lets us show escalating levels of understanding. The Drake pointing format lets us express preferences without words. These aren't just jokes, they're linguistic tools. And YU law scholars Amy Adler and Jeanne have extensively studied the intersection of memes and copyright law, noting that memes represent a form of democratic creativity. They allow anyone to participate in cultural commentary without needing artistic training or expensive equipment. Remove memes, and you're essentially removing the ability for ordinary people to engage in cultural production. You're limiting creativity to those with the resources to create original content or license existing material. In other words, you're making culture the exclusive domain of corporations and the wealthy. Making memes illegal would be an economic disaster. These platforms built their entire business models around user-generated content, and memes are a massive part of that ecosystem. Just think about it. How much time do you spend on social media looking at memes? How many memes have you shared, liked, or commented on? Every one of those interactions generates data that platforms sell to advertisers. Every meme that goes viral drives traffic, engagement, and ultimately revenue. And it's not just lost advertising revenue. It's the entire influencer marketing industry, which is worth billions of dollars. Influencers use memes to connect with audiences, brands use memes to appear relatable. And viral marketing campaigns often center around meme-worthy content. But if you make memes illegal, you force every piece of creative content through expensive legal gatekeepers. You create a system where only those with significant resources can participate in digital culture. And that, My friends, is why the internet as we know it stops being a democratizing force and becomes another playground for the wealthy. What happens to political discourse when you ban memes? Perhaps most troubling is what happens to political discourse. Memes have become one of the most powerful tools for political commentary and grassroots organizing. They can distill complex political ideas into shareable formats, mobilize communities around causes, and provide ways for people to express dissent. Historical parallels are instructive here. Authoritarian regimes have always understood the power of satire and humor to undermine authority. Political cartoons were banned in many countries during periods of repression. Court jesters were executed when their jokes got too pointed. Comedy has always been a form of resistance in the digital age. Memes serve this same function. They allow people to criticize powerful figures, highlight hypocrisy, and build solidarity around shared frustrations. The "This is fine" meme became a way to express feelings about political chaos. The "distracted boyfriend" meme was used to critique everything from political priorities to corporate behavior. Scholars who study censorship warn about what they call chilling effects, when the fear of punishment causes people to self-censor, avoiding not just banned content, but anything that might potentially be controversial. Ban memes, and you don't just lose the memes themselves, you lose the broader culture of irreverent commentary they represent. So you want to ban memes? Here's how that would actually go down. You can't ban memes at the scale of the internet without artificial intelligence. That means giving an algorithm the power to detect and remove memes at the speed of the internet. And we already have systems like this in place. YouTube's Content ID, for example, uses AI to scan uploaded videos and flag potential copyright violations. But as anyone who's dealt with YouTube's Content ID system knows, this is basically a meme filter. It's not going to stop people from sharing memes. It's just going to give us a bunch of false positives and legitimate content will get removed. And anyway, users will just find workarounds. They'll use VPNs to access meme-friendly platforms hosted in other countries. They'll use encrypted messaging apps to share memes with each other. They'll come up with new formats that evade detection, like slightly altered images or text-based memes or audio-only content. The IAPRDS analysis of memes and copyright law suggests that current legal frameworks are already struggling to keep up with the pace of meme evolution. Users adapt faster than legal systems can respond. You're not going to stop memes, you're just going to push them underground, where the lines become harder to control and more likely to spiral into extremism. We already know this because we've seen it happen with prohibition. What happens to a generation that grows up without memes? I mean, we all know that memes are funny, but it's more than that. It's a way of life. It's a coping mechanism. It's how we process our emotions. When you share a meme, you're sharing a joke that everyone in your community understands. It's a way of bonding with other people. It's how we build trust and reduce tension. It's how we create group cohesion. And when you remove memes from the equation, you're removing something that people have relied on for years to help them deal with the complexities of modern life. You're removing a crutch that has allowed generations of young people to bond with their peers, to cope with stress, and to laugh in the face of adversity. So to answer the question, no, this doesn't just suck. It's not just a loss of jokes, it's a loss of identity. It's a loss of a way of life. It's a loss of memes. Should we ban memes? To be fair, there are some good reasons for why someone might want to restrict them. Some memes do spread misinformation, promote harmful stereotypes, or facilitate cyberbullying. And according to research from Res Nova Law, viral memes can sometimes cause real harm to individuals whose images are used without permission. Content moderation studies suggest that removing certain types of problematic content can reduce online harassment and make platforms safer for vulnerable users. Some memes do cross the line from humor into hate speech, targeted harassment, or dangerous misinformation. From a copyright perspective, there's also an argument that creators deserve compensation when their work is used, even in meme form. The current system of selective enforcement might seem unfair to photographers, artists, and other creators whose work becomes meme templates without their permission. But here's the thing, these problems could be addressed through targeted content moderation and clearer fair use guidelines, not through blanket bans. The solution to bad memes isn't no memes, it's better systems for identifying and removing actually harmful content while preserving the broader ecosystem of creative expression. You ever wonder what would happen if memes were made illegal? Well, let's imagine the logical endpoint of that. Picture a world where every image you upload, every social media post, every private message could be monitored by AI surveillance systems looking for potential violations. Now picture that same system being used to crack down on dissent. Think about the implications for comedy, for satire, for parody. Imagine a world where humor is seen as a potential threat to order, where creativity itself is viewed with suspicion. This isn't science fiction. We already live in a world where content moderation algorithms make millions of decisions about what speech is acceptable. We already have systems that can identify copyrighted material in uploaded content. We already have governments that monitor social media for signs of dissent. The world of illegal memes would be a world of constant surveillance, where the internet, once a wild, creative, democratizing force, becomes just another highly regulated, corporate-controlled medium. It's a world where every joke is analyzed, every image is scrutinized, and every attempt at humor could be criminalized. This is what happens when we prioritize control over creativity, when we choose order over expression, when we decide that the risks of free speech outweigh its benefits. It's a world we should all be very afraid of. So here's what gives me hope. Human creativity is remarkably resilient. People have found ways to express themselves even under the most repressive conditions. Political prisoners have written poetry on toilet paper. Artists have hidden subversive messages in their paintings. Comedians have used coded language to critique power. And so in a world of illegal memes, we would likely see the rise of what I'd call steganographic humor, jokes hidden in plain sight, memes disguised as legitimate content, entire underground networks dedicated to preserving and sharing banned cultural artifacts. The very attempt to ban memes would probably create new forms of creative expression. Artists would develop new visual languages that evade detection. Comedians would invent new formats that exploit legal loopholes. The meme would evolve, adapt, and survive because human creativity always finds a way. This is a video about memes, so here's what I want you to consider. We're not just talking about funny pictures on the internet. We're talking about whether we want to live in a world where creativity is free or controlled, where humor is democratic or regulated, where the internet remains a space for human expression or becomes just another corporate media channel. The question isn't what if memes were illegal? The question is, what kind of digital future do we want to build? Do we want a world where every joke needs legal approval? Where creativity requires a license? Where the price of order is the death of humor? Or do we want to preserve the messy, chaotic, gloriously human thing that the internet has become, a place where anyone can make anyone else laugh, where culture is created by communities rather than corporations, where the next great meme might come from anywhere and anyone? The choice is still ours to make, but we need to make it consciously, understanding what we'd be giving up and what we'd be gaining. What do you think? Could you imagine a world without memes? Would we be safer or would we just be less human? And if memes disappeared tomorrow, what would you miss most? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts on this. And if this video made you think differently about the memes you share every day, consider subscribing for more explorations of the ideas that shape our digital world. Because in the end, the future of memes is about the future of human expression itself.